Welcome to today's masterclass. It's so nice to see you here. I don't know if you're able to hear me. Please give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear me. Oh, nice. Welcome to today's masterclass, how to stop being broke. Habits that have kept you broke in your 20s. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy that you're getting to have this discussion with Elvis. We need to talk about money, and we need to talk about habits that are derailing us from achieving our potential. So I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you for taking your time to learn, for investing time to learn and to grow. So before we start, I want to make sure that all of you hamjasahau kitabu na kalamu, because we are about to learn. We are about to learn a lot. Karibuni sana. What is going to happen? I'm going to introduce the class. Then I'll pass it to Elvis, who will teach us a few things. Then if you have a question, please put it in the chat section. Then we'll have a session that Elvis tackles the Q&A. Is that okay with you guys? All right. So karibuni sana, Elvis. Karibu sana to our class. We are so happy to host you. We are called the investors because we invest time into the things that grow us, into the things that nourish us. Yes, we invest time to learn and to grow. Karibu sana, Elvis. Over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Stashia. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Good. Maybe can you give me maybe 1 or 2 minutes, Evie? I want to set up everything in order on my side.
That's fine.
Okay.
In the meantime, we can talk about one habit that has held you back. I'll go first. One habit that has held me back from achieving my potential is impulse buying. Who's with me on impulse buying? Oh, Anne is with me. Impulse buying. Yeah, you can put your bad habits hapo kwa chat section tuone. Impulse buying from Danny as well. Procrastination, Grace. Procrastination is one big one. Materialistic was the bad habit. Laban, by materialistic, do you mean you spent on materials? Or what do you mean? Self-doubt, fear, instant gratification, true. Instant gratification. Yeah, fear from Danny, okay. Grace says self-doubt, think that people will think of me. Okay. I hear you, Grace. I hear you on that one. Procrastination, Kenneth. Okay. Fear of the unknown. Okay. Fear of the unknown has kept you from achieving your financial potential. Interesting. Lack of self-belief, Lenny. Oh my God. Yeah. A lot of people suffer from self-belief and self-esteem. Oh, Danny, low self-esteem. Oh my God. Especially when asking for a raise. Oh my God, true. Teso Boy says improper planning. Oh my God, true. Improper lack of financial planning. Oh my God, will set you so far back. Almost says women. Women have kept you from achieving your financial potential. Hey, Amos, what did we do? Margaret says doubt. Okay. Austin says taking less action. All right. Time mismanagement from Catherine. Okay. Sheila says a 9-to-5 job. A 9-to-5 job. Interesting. So Sheila, is it that The salary is low? Is it that you're not able to focus on your side hustles? We need to know. But these are common things that affect all of us. Government policies from Nelly. Okay. Is it the taxes, Nelly? These are interesting answers. Paul says Kasongo. Okay. Okay, Paul, I hear you. The taxes are crazy. Mariam says self-sabotage. Interesting. Self-sabotage. Oh, Danny says laziness. Oh, Danny, you're so honest with yourself. I love that. Robert says addiction, which most of us suffer from, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's instant gratification, it can be an addiction. Impulse buying can also be an addiction. Yeah. Elvis, please tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm actually okay. I'm okay.
Vusumuzi says poor time management. Interesting. Time management. Time is money. If you don't take care of your time, you will lose money. Njukia says my phone. Interesting. Your phone. Is it that you spend time scrolling online? You know, I was in an event just the other day when Caroline Mutuko was speaking, and she says, if you spend money scrolling online, just know that you're scrolling through other people's fortune. People are making money online, so you shouldn't spend a lot of time online as a consumer. Learn how to be a producer in one way or the other. So yeah, time management, especially through scrolling, it's quite a common factor, especially with us, the youth. Tumekwama kule TikTok. Every time we are just consuming udaku, following up on the latest gossip, on the latest news. I love the answers. Risk, taking fears. Oh, Solomon says risk, taking fears. So you fear taking risks, Solomon? Help us understand you. You fear taking risks with your money? Because they say your money can't grow if you're not able to take risk. You need to have some element of risk. Whether you're a low risk, medium risk, high risk, you need to have some element of risk for you to grow. I love the answers. Thank you so much. Cyrus, poor management. Okay, Cyrus, you seem to have money that you're mismanaging, yeah? We'll talk about that as well.
Okay. Can you hear me, Stashia?
Being hopeless and having no dreams. Tina, we need to have a session. You need to talk to me. You need to talk to me. We need to talk about that. Okay, I can see that our guest is ready. Hi, Elvis. Karibu tena sana. We are so happy to host you today. We've been doing a couple of webinars because we just want to learn. We just want to explore these things. We want to learn. We want to grow. We're a community of youths who are just hungry for knowledge and applying what we learn. So, karibu sana.
Well, thank you so much, Stashia. Can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
We are not able to hear you.
You need to put on your headphones.
Oh.
Oh,
thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I forgot.
You forgot about your ears.
I'm not used to them.
Anyway, thank you so much for inviting me today. Actually, this is my second invitation in a webinar this year. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I rarely get invited into webinars, but thank you so much for inviting me. And the topic on how to stop being broke First of all, before even maybe I begin, I just want to say that I'm not like a financial coach. Uh, I'm also not like someone who understands a lot about money. I'm someone who's made a lot of mistakes about money to know how not to be broke. Yeah, most of the mistakes. So someone might be judging me and probably saying, why is this guy talking about money? And yet probably he doesn't have the necessary skill set when it comes to money matters. But for me, I believe that money is a personal responsibility. It's Money is all about you knowing how to actually just manage it and even work with it. And I've made several mistakes with money. I've also made mistakes, quite a number, to even say that we can have a conversation today on how to stop being broke, especially habits that keep you broke in your 20s.
Yeah. I'll also say that I'm also learning about money. Luckily for me, I started learning about money from very early on, from primary. I think there was a time I was too broke and I needed money to do some things. For example, I wanted money to buy avocado during the school lunch. So I started like doing some business from primary just to learn about money. And I've been conversant with money a couple of times. I am still learning. I think it's a learning curve. I'm happy to learn from you. We are happy to learn from you as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me, Stashia. And I don't think for me today is really trying to. You sent me a few questions some time back, and I was able to prepare. I was able to prepare something that pertains to the questions, and the whole agenda of today's session is to try and talk about why people stay broke. That's the first thing. Why people actually stay broke, and top money questions that might be answered. That is basically the questions I was actually able to get. There was also some questions from university students. Quite a number of questions that I think I can also get to address. And there's also the business and side hustle questions. Those are the various things that someone can actually be doing on the side, and basically action steps that someone can actually take. Now, for me, I didn't want to prepare slides and say that, financial literacy is this and this and this. I really tried to actually answer the questions in terms of, to create these particular slides in terms of the questions that you sent me. And like the first question that was there is someone who said that I earn 20,000 shillings every month, but I'm always broke by mid-month. What is the first thing I should change? It's an interesting question because you see, like someone who earns 15K every month, it's like they're working for around 500 bob per day. Just a brief assumption. And I was trying to understand the guy because most people probably will receive their salary between the 5th and the 9th. Probably, not very sure. But by the time probably you're getting to date 15, you have nothing. And at that point, that's when you start going to Tala. That's when you start taking some of these mobile loans. So why is it always that every time you get to mid-month, people are always broke? Yeah. So I earn 20,000 shillings per month and I'm always broke by mid-month. What is the first thing I should do? Or what is the first thing I should actually change? Well, the first thing I actually thought that would really make sense is to track every shilling. Yeah. People don't know that they can actually track every shilling. For example, what you do is for 30 days, write down every single expense. Okay. Even if it is snacks, airtime, or even rides. Awareness is the foundation of control. To me, tracking every shilling is now, first of all, becoming aware. When you are aware of the situation now, it's easy for you to start thinking about solutions. So the first step towards understanding why 20,000 shillings inafika katikati ya mwezi and it's already done, you need to first of all be aware, where is this particular money going? Number two is a very simple thing that you need to do. Prioritize a very simple budget. Okay. Normally I've seen guys on social media talking about the 20, 30, and 50 rule, where they tell you 50 is for your needs and everything, 30% is for your wants, and 20% is for your savings. Now your rent, food, and food could probably come in between in the 50%. So when you're working with a simple budget, you need to first of all think probably about your rent. Number two is food and transport. And then the next thing that you need to start thinking also about is saving and debt repayment. You will not be shocked to find someone who has 20,000 shillings every month, but they have a loan of, 200,000 shillings. and they have to pay a certain amount every month. So you need to split 20,000 in clear categories. Food and utilities. How much do you pay for rent? Rent and utilities. Number 2 is food and transport, savings and debt repayment, and a small allowance for personal spending. Well, most people think that a small allowance is for you to go and probably indulge in alcohol. You'll start indulging in alcohol, ukunywe mpaka uone, hey, wacha ni withdraw savings. You get. So the small allowance is for your own personal spending. Probably you want to buy a new trouser, you want to buy a new shirt or something like that. This is how I would actually do it myself. There's a time I actually tell people this story. I used to earn a salary of 8,000 shillings in Nanyuki. And I never understood how I was actually surviving with 8,000 shillings in Nanyuki. Yeah. Because my rent was around 2,500. Yeah. That was the first thing. Then the other remainder was 5,500 Kenyan shillings. This wasn't enough for me. Yeah. Because I had already listed out. First of all, I had a smartphone. It needed airtime. I needed to buy clothes. So we've talked about the first thing is about awareness. Track every shilling. And then number 2 is to prioritize a very simple budget. Number 3 is to cut leaks fast. Okay? The leaks are basically like, for example, snacks. Umeenda ukakutana na smocha ama pasua. Every day, like for example, I told someone, just think about pasua and everything. You can spend like 100 bob. If you do that like every single day, let's say you do that in 21 days, that's 2,100 shillings. Yeah. And probably you're going to do one pasua and bado hujashiba. So you say, weka ingine. So you need to first of all cut leaks fast. Then you also need to understand there's something called impulse buys. Where you go, probably you meet some guy in Mutumba who has these new nice shirts and you're like, hey, let me buy these ones. Those impulse buys are the reasons as to why you find so many people losing money. Okay? Before you start chasing more income, you need to first of all understand, where is my money actually leaking? Do I have a girlfriend who is expensive? Because people also have expensive girlfriends and nowadays boyfriends. They're boyfriends who are being taken care of. So we have to remember them. These guys, they'll be taking money from you. So if you have a boyfriend who probably stays in your house, think about him. He's probably eating 1 kg of ugali in one day. There's a leak over there already. Yeah. If he's eating skuma ya watu watatu, it's a leak. You need to first of all understand these leaks. Number 4 is to pay yourself first. We're still talking about a guy who is earning 20,000 shillings every month. Now, most people think that paying yourself, for me, I equate paying myself. I equate it to like saving some money. Yeah. You don't really need to, you can pay yourself in whichever manner you like to pay yourself with. In fact, even eating small chapasua and madondo and mutura on the roads, it's like paying yourself in a way, but it's punishing your body. For me, I believe that if you can set aside like 10% of that money from the 20,000 shillings immediately after receiving the income, treat it like a bill you must pay, right? Put some money aside, like it's a savings, it's for you. People don't understand that savings is the first step to actually getting into investment. So for me, it's pay yourself first, okay? And paying yourself, one of the things guys don't really tend to understand is paying yourself doesn't mean you go and buy like Don Julio and gargle it yote mpaka tumbo, you know, it's not that. It's about staying ready and having something that you can go to in case something bad happens. Now, the next thing is to avoid the lifestyle creep. The lifestyle creep means don't spend like your friends or colleagues. Don't spend like your friends or colleagues if your finances can sustain it. Live within your means, not theirs. Someone is making 20,000 shillings. Unataka kukunywa pombe ya 40,000 per weekend, right? So when people are changaing 8K, you with your little 20,000, until umetoa your 8,000. So that you can actually show your friends that, oh, by the way, hata kama mnanunua pombe, me, I have the money. Avoiding the lifestyle creep. 20,000 shillings today is very little money, if you ask me, especially for an adult. If 20,000 was being given to a teenager, that makes sense. But avoid the lifestyle creep. In fact, so many people don't understand that the moment you're not able to finance something, the moment you're not able to spend like them, don't go ahead and be friends with them. If your friends are making 200,000 shillings every month and you're making 15, 20,000, It doesn't mean that you have a chance to go to Quiver and start drinking alcohol and saying, kila mtu apewe. Avoid the lifestyle creep. Finally, it's about a mindset shift. If I may say something, for me, I don't think that being broke is about money. For me, a broke person is about habits. Brokenness is not something that just happens. Like I tend to think, for me, it's habits. Okay? Because, like, for example, something would be like, if I can't save enough because I earn too little. There are people who have that mindset that I can't save enough money because I earn too little. Okay? Because you need to just think about it in a different level and say that I save because I want to stop being broke. You might be saving to do an investment. So for me, I think the mindset shift is probably one of the most important things. But the lifestyle creep, hii ndio inakula watu wengi, lifestyle creep, where you find your friends have gone and bought new glasses at Optica. You with your 20,000 shillings, you cannot afford. So what do you decide to do? You want to be in line with your friends. You go and look for a Shylock. He gives you 27,000 so that you can buy glasses so that you can please your friends. Don't worry about wearing ragged shoes or anything, as long as your money is okay. The mindset shift, for me, broke is not really about I'm broke. It's about what else can you do? How can you shift your mindset from that particular perspective to actually be different from, take yourself out of the situation? So that's really what I would say. First of all, awareness. Awareness is very, very important. The lifestyle creeps, that's one of the things that could actually really affect you. 20,000 is manageable. Unfortunately, 20,000, I might say, in Nairobi might be a little bit low. So at that point, it's important for you to start thinking about other ways to earn some income extra. If you can spend the evenings, like for example, if you can spend the evenings every day learning new things, like for example, learn how to use a tool like Canva, so that you can, like, if you just think about it, if every evening you have a client who pays you 1,000 bob, all right, to design posters for them, that's an extra 1,000 shillings every month. So if you're able to do Canva designs and you get like 10 to 15K extra, well, you're on your way to actually cancelling the whole problem of financial problems by the time you're hitting the mid-month. That would be my answer. The second question I received was, how do I actually say no to friends who pressure me into spending when I can't afford it? This is the worst thing. Your friends take you to Kempinski. Well, unajua mbele na nyuma, your name, you only have 200 bob. But because you want to impress these friends of yours, unawaambia, Leo, don't worry guys, the bill is on me. Me, I normally say, if I can't afford to go to Kempinski and pay for something for myself, me and Danny, you'll take photos and send them to me. Yeah? How do I say no to friends who pressure me into spending when I can't afford it? Let me respond in this manner. The first thing is to set clear boundaries. Boundaries are probably one of the most important things in our personal lives, in relationships, everywhere. And here's what I had to say. Your financial health comes first. A simple, firm message like, I am not able to do that right now is enough. You don't owe anyone long explanations. Hey, hello, Johnny, si uchomoke twende wapi? Twende tukatumia 50,000. Hey, nikubaya, me, I don't have anything. It's the same way, like, for example, if you're dealing with relatives who keep asking money from you, being very firm, you don't even need to explain and tell them, sijui this. You just need to be very firm with your answer. I am not able to get you that money right now. Boundaries. Set clear boundaries with your friends. It's also good to rethink the group of friends that you have. Number 2 is offer alternatives. If you have these girlfriends and boy mates or whichever one, instead of expensive outings, suggest budget-friendly or free options. You find students from Kenyatta University or from JKUAT driving all the way to go to Two Rivers, and you want to go to Burger King, so that you can, is it Burger King? I think something like that. You want to go there and eat 800 Kenyan shillings burgers, yeah? But in real life, only one person probably can afford to pay for those things. For me, instead of thinking about such things, why don't you chill in your hostels or even chill at home if you have friends at home? Or if you have to go, you can go for a walk. In fact, going to Karura is much cheaper. Yeah. If you go to Karura Forest, it's going to be much cheaper. Probably some of you are just going to pay 100 bob for each to actually enter. Yeah. Matatu is going to be cheap. Now, instead of having to spend money because you want to please your friends, do something else. Cook together. Instead of ordering, like, it's very hard to understand how people, university students, will sit down to kuchanga 3,600 to spend in one day from pizza and KFC. Yet these 3,600 can feed them for an entire week. Yeah. For me, I think before you start, spending money like that because you want to please your friends, piga hesabu hata wewe. You know 3,600 is going to feed you for a whole week. And if you're afraid of telling your friends that you can't do this, use my name. Tell them, hey, by the way, Elvis said, if I spend more than this money, mimi siko pazuri. You get, offer alternatives. If you're afraid of telling them, tell them. There's a guy, by the way, on TikTok. There's a guy on TikTok. He told us, instead of spending 4,000 shillings, why don't we go for a walk to Karura? Offer alternatives that allow you not to spend so much money, right? So that's one of the ways. Like, for example, when you find friends who are actually, pressuring you to actually spend money you don't have, choose your circle wisely. Choose your circle wisely. Your friends have pressured you into spending money. They're pressuring you. They're telling you, come we changa, we go and drink alcohol like no one else. At the end of the day, you need to be able to choose your friends wisely. People don't understand that these are not friends that you actually have. Stashia, am I audible? Someone is saying that they cannot hear me.
I'm able to hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So that's really what I'm saying. For me, I tend to think that it's up to you to actually get to take the responsibility to just be someone who can actually say no. Yeah. And being able to choose your friends wisely. Yeah. When you're able to choose your friends wisely, it's actually going to be so good for you. So that's one of the recommendations I'd personally I'd like to share, like choose your circle wisely. When you're able to actually choose your circle wisely, it's going to be so easy for you, even in your personal life, because now you'll be able to control and know that these are people I don't want to associate myself with. These are people I don't want to be. Yeah. These are people I just don't want to be, in groups with or something like that. That's one of the things I would actually get to say. Now, there's something else I like to say, that you also can have like a script ready. A script ready is, you need to be able to offer short, polite responses. Short, polite responses. A short, polite response would be something like, I'm saving for something important. I want to buy a certain laptop. I want to buy a laptop in the next 10 days. Yeah. So that's now people can see, oh, okay. Oh, so it's not possible for you to come and drink alcohol with us. That's one of the things. Or you can even say something like, not this time, maybe some other time. Yeah. Like if you think about this whole thing about Naivasha, have you been to those Naivasha rallies? People don't know that there are guys who go to those Naivasha. They only had money to go and pay for the vehicle. And when they get to Naivasha, they're hungry. They don't even have money. Yeah. Just because your friends pressured you to go there. So kazi yako ni kwenda unangojea watu wakichoma nyama, unangojea kama watashiba, uambiwe, hey, you get. So for me, it's always important for you to actually have a script ready. You can also say something like, I'm on a budget this month. Or if you can, just move away from your friends. Like, for example, I believed, and this is one of the things that really helped me when I was in university, that if you can be able to separate yourself from the company that you have at that specific time, if you can be able to separate yourself from that particular company and just decide to, let me say, if you can just be able to separate yourself from that company that you have at that particular time, it's going to be so easy for you. Like if you can leave, if you don't even have to really worry about, this whole thing about, kufurahisha watu in school. I think if you have the chance, just leave, stop staying in the hostels. Because most of the time when you live in those hostels, that's when you're going to actually be pressured to do some things. Yeah. It gets to a point where you say, let me make the decision to actually just leave and start living by myself, because when I'm living with my peers over here, they're always thinking of nonsensical things. You will have friends, it's already 7 p.m. in the evening, but they're telling you, let's go on a road trip to Machakos. Na sayo mko Kisii. You see? So always have a script ready. Not this time, maybe later. That's one of the things. Now, avoid comparison. Most of the time, we compare ourselves with our friends. Their money story is not your money story. Probably your friend is dating a gangster. That's why she's always moneyed. Yeah. Probably they are from a rich parent, from rich parents, and you, with no money at all, you're struggling. You're calling your father, telling your father, akutumie pesa ya mitochondria, just because you want to be part of this particular group. Stop comparing yourself with your friends. Finally, is to remember your goals. Remember your goals. Goals allow you to say no to unnecessary spending. And when you say no to unnecessary spending, you're saying yes to financial freedom. Yeah. When you have the ability to sit down and say, no, not this time. This one allows you, all right, this one allows you to have something that you need to achieve than to sit down and please people by spending money. So remember your goals. And if you don't have goals today, write them down. Go ahead and write down those goals that you probably want to achieve. Because I think so many people actually survive today. They live today with no goals completely. Like you're finding people every day who are, let me say, I'm not trying to be a bad person over here or like someone who is trying to trash talk you, but I tend to think people need to also have some goals. Prepare some goals that you actually think justify why you're not spending money on some fleeting things that your friends are actually telling you to get into. So remember your goals. So that's really what I would actually say. But for me is watch the group of friends that you keep. If the friends you have are friends who always want to tell you to spend money on things that don't make sense, well then, it's time for you to actually leave that company. Is it better to save fast or pay your debts fast? For me, pay your debts. That's my recommendation. But here's another solution. Tackle high interest debts fast. Yes, Stashia?
Oh, just a minute. Before you proceed, I would want to add on to the last topic that you are speaking about.
Yes.
Oh, I wanted to say that as people, we also need to unlearn shame and to unlearn guilt, because one of the reasons why people struggle to set boundaries, especially with friends, is because maybe they feel guilty for not being able to attend maybe some certain functions. Maybe your girls are having a girls' date and you're not able to attend. But it's important for us to unlearn shame and unlearn guilt, and also to relearn that everyone is on their own path. Everyone is on their own path. People are chasing different things. People have different priorities in life. So you should unlearn shame, you should unlearn guilt, and just know that you're walking your own path. And your path needs you to do some certain things. For example, my path right now just needs me to maybe invest in my craft, which is maybe different from another person, that their path right now, their priority right now maybe is to buy books. So we need to unlearn that and to also understand that our paths are different, and to just be comfortable with that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. The next part that I really wanted to tackle it was on this question: is it better to save fast or pay your debts fast? Your debts. I probably think everyone over here has some debts here and there. You probably have a vehicle that you're paying for. You have, in fact, the first thing you need to go and check is your CRB status. If you don't check your CRB status, you'll not know how much, you'll never know what situation you have, especially when it comes to your money. Is it better to save fast or pay your debts fast? Now, here's my answer. The first thing is to tackle high interest debts first. Okay? An example will be mobile loans or credit cards, or probably if you have Shylock loans. Yeah? These ones, they grow faster than savings can. If you can be able, like people go and you take your fridge as collateral and you take a loan from a Shylock. Clear those debts as fast as you can. Okay? Tackle high interest debts fast. If you have mobile loans, pay them fast. Number 2 is to build a small emergency fund. Even when you're paying your debt, set aside at least 1 month of expenses. This prevents you from going back to borrowing when an emergency strikes. Okay. So when you are able to have 1 month of expenses already set up, you have like an emergency fund. So instead of always borrowing, at least you have an emergency fund that you can always go back to and take some money. So build a small emergency fund that is basically going to cover probably 1 month of your expenses. I have seen a guy called Geshoke Kahome talk about, I've seen a guy called Geshoke Kahome. Just a moment, 1 moment.
I can see your questions on the chat box. We will address them. Paul says, I took a circle loan of 400K 1.5 years ago. It's been paying 12,500 every month. Today my arrears are 292. Oh my God, these chats are coming in fast. Today my arrears are 292,100 and the loan balance is 277. I think we should also avoid, I think we should also avoid loans. These interests are weird, extremely high interest loans.
If
Okay.
you ask me, but hey, sorry.
Oh, sorry, you can proceed.
You see, that question, like for me, the moment you take like such a loan, always try to reduce that principal. Like that's how they get us. Like if you took a loan of 400,000, don't only pay the 12,500 Kenya shillings every month. If you have an extra 150,000, go and pay. Yeah. Reduce your principal.
True.
Reduce your principal, because most people don't understand that this loan is going to is going to pile up for so long. Like even when you're buying a vehicle and you've probably financed like 80%. When things start moving and becoming better, don't think of upgrading your loan to get another vehicle. Take all that money and reduce the principal. Like if the bank gave you 1.8 million, that works well. Stashia, maybe you can take over for a minute. Let me sort something over here.
Okay. I think whatever Elvis is saying is true. I was once in a finance class and that's what they were telling us. When you reduce the principal, because when you keep paying the small principal, you will end up paying double or even triple of whatever amount that you were supposed to pay. So reduce the principal. Reduce the principal. Also do your due diligence before investing in any investment account or any investment platform and before borrowing from Ether, from any circles, whether it's a bank. Do your due diligence, understand the history, understand what works well in this bank, what privileges would I have, what privileges do you get. Maybe, for example, if you're investing in a platform, just do your due diligence. Imagine research. Ignorance is expensive. Ignorance is expensive and it will eat on you so much. Somebody says, Austin says, I really wish I could get this information while I was in school. Too bad when I graduated, the word opened my mind. I lost everyone around me. Good app for information. Oh, Austin, that is so sad. I also wish that we had financial literacy classes in school. I think we would avoid a lot of mistakes. And then the issue with the school or the curriculum that most of us went through, they didn't prepare us for the world outside. They didn't tell us the world will be harsh. They didn't tell us that you need to understand money. You need to understand money concepts. You need to be familiar with money. You need to start investing at an early age. They didn't tell us that. So it takes deliberate action, deliberate steps for you to at least get accustomed to money and get accustomed to investment option and investment portfolios.
Okay, I can continue, Stashia.
Yes, please.
Now, after you've been able to sort out your debts, once you've paid these high interest debts, redirect that money into savings. There are people, like for example, if you are 400,000 shillings in debt, and you've been able to clear the loan, up to probably now you have like a balance of 50K. So the surplus money that you would have been using to pay for loans, that's the money people start using to enjoy. Yeah, especially in your 20s. Now, when you've cleared your debt, people now start thinking it's time for enjoyment. For me, I tend to think save that money. And I don't always believe in the 10 to 20% rule. If you can even save more, the better. Someone is earning 400,000 shillings or even 200,000 shillings. But the thing is, since you've been told to save 10%, you only save 40K. But your expenses, miscellaneous and everything, na kukunywa pombe, is 260,000. Like, if you think about it, it's not logical. So if you can save more, the better. After saving now, you need to start thinking about investing. So when you've been able to move from debt-free and you have a savings cushion, like for example, you probably have an emergency fund, you've probably saved in a money market fund, now you can actually get into investments. All right. For me, one of the biggest investments that I tend to think is skills building. Well, everyone, it's still okay for you to get into money market funds and circles, but one of the best investments that you can do is to invest in yourself. That's one of the things I've actually been able to come to learn. That if you have the ability to sit down and invest in yourself, it's much better. Here's the reason. Like, ideally, let's say you have savings of 400,000 shillings. How can you invest in yourself? Go get a laptop. A laptop, 80,000. Go to Udemy and buy a course. For example, how to use Canva. It's going to cost you like 2,100 shillings or even 2,200 Kenyan shillings. I'm telling you, after 3 months, you'll come as a new person. Why? That 80K and that course is less than 85,000. But guess what? After learning how to use Canva, it's possible for you to make 30, 40, or even 20K per month. What a good investment. Where can you get such returns? Even money market funds cannot give you such a return. And that is one of the things that actually I really sensitize on. Skills building. Because when you build skills, you're investing in yourself. In as much as you're investing in money market funds, don't forget about yourself. Invest in yourself. Go to Decathlon. Go buy some gym wear. When you buy some gym wear, start working out. The better your brain is, the better your body is, the more functional you are as a human being. So if you're a graphic designer, you can be able to make more money. For me, invest. But the first thing you need to start investing in is you. In your 20s, invest in you. You. Right? Invest in learning. Before you start thinking about earning, invest in yourself. Okay? Money market funds are good. For me, I don't really consider money market funds as an investment. I personally believe it's a tool that you can use, especially when you want to build wealth. You put money in a money market fund, probably for a reason. Okay? The reason could be you probably want to start investing in another financial instrument. You want to probably go to a company like, to do something else. I'm not the biggest fan of SACCOs, not in a bad way, but I have to mention that because so many Kenyans are actually doing that. But here's the thing. Financial institutions are not meant or set up to help you. Majority of them are actually meant to make money for them. So if you go to a bank and you open a bank account, that doesn't mean that the bank is going to be making money for you. It is making money for their shareholders and their investors. So you're just a customer. You're a client using their services. It's the same thing with SACCOs. SACCOs, first of all, in Kenya, majority of them are not regulated. For me, I don't put my money in SACCOs completely, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm honestly just saying it as it is. For me, it's thinking about how I can take advantage. Well, SACCOs could really work in the remote areas because of access of capital and everything. But for me, I tend to believe that as a young person, it's not so important for you to put your money in SACCOs. Because if you have 500,000 shillings put in a SACCO, well, you could be getting some money here and there. But just imagine 500K can get you like 3 cameras or 2 cameras. These cameras can be used for a podcast. They can be used for content creation. Just imagine you just learning how to do videography. And now with this 500K investment, you can easily go in one shoot and make 50K. Can you get such a return anywhere? If there are investments that are going 10% per annum, 10% is probably, or 500K is like 50K. That's a whole year. But now this 50K, you've gotten it in less than, I don't know, probably in a day. Yeah. So for me is invest in yourself. But remember, at the end of the day, the best and the biggest investment that you can do is in you. The more you invest in yourself, the more money you're able to make, the more money you're able to save, and the more money you're able to put into other investments that can actually take your investment vehicle further. So that is my answer. So in the question of, should I pay my debts first or should I start saving? For me, pay your debts first, right? If you have a car loan, pay it off, okay? Before you start thinking about saving, pay these loans. And you don't have to clear all of them. Just clear those ones which we refer to as high interest debts. Like the guy who has 400,000 in the circle. Brother, go, if you can get even 200,000 shillings today, go and clear that loan. Go and tell them, I want to reduce my principal and I never want to take loans from you again. Go and reduce your principal as much as you can. So that's maybe my answer. And it's a golden rule that I actually believe in. If the interest rate on your debt is higher than what your savings or investment can earn, pay the debt first. If you have debts that are probably taking like 22% per annum and your investments are doing like 15%, well, this one is the most important one. Clear it off, because now you're left with a -7. It's just like doing nothing. So for me, the interest that you're getting from your investments is very low. If you're getting like 40% from your investments and your debt is like 20%, is taking 20%, then that would make sense. It would also allow you to actually be liquid. So at that point, that is when you actually decide to pay your debts first. Okay. Another thing is, I want to start investing, but my income is too small. Where should I begin? That's a question I got. And remember, this is not financial advice. I'm saying things as a normal Kenyan. I'm not a finance expert. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a finance expert. I have made mistakes with money. And the mistakes I have made with money have allowed me to learn what to do and what not to do with money. So I want to start investing, but my income is too small. Where should I begin? Here's my very simple answer. Money market funds. I think the money market funds that even allow you to have like 300 to 1,000 shillings. Start with that. It is safer than leaving your money in M-Pesa. When it is in M-Pesa, you could easily send it to your girlfriend and you can easily lose it, even putting it anonymous in M-Shwari. Now, this allows you to build discipline through consistent deposits. Start with a money market fund. Well, we might not know how to invest in other things like hedge funds and all these things, but let's start with a very simple thing that we know. But remember, this is not to make you a lot of money. There are guys who say that if I put 800K or 800 bob, tomorrow is going to be 1,600. Remember, interest rates are calculated per annum, not per day. Per annum means per year. There are dudes, you tell them 16%. Anafikiria, nikieka 1,000 by 16%. Guy, hiyo ni 160. So the guy is like, kesho 160, siku hiyo ingine niongezee 196. That's not the math. All right. So for me, I think it's all about, building discipline through consistent deposits, number one, and being realistic. So if the money market funds are doing 8% per annum, well, unajua, you're not going to be expecting as much as a thing. Money market funds. Number two is to probably join a SACCO if you want to actually start your investment journey. For example, is to pool savings with others. I think there are SACCOs that normally allow people to pool resources together. Yeah, you can probably get, okay, let me just say this. The moment you're able to put money in a SACCO, you can also be able to access loans at low interest. That's one of the best things about having a SACCO account. Majority of the people I've heard of, they open SACCO accounts because of their access to credit. Because let me not lie to you, accessing credit from banks might be a little bit tricky. I've personally been banking with NCBA, and I'm telling you that you can even bank and make up to 10 million Kenyan shillings in 3 years and have that, but the guys can only give you a loan of 25,000 shillings. Yeah. So SACCOs would be an ideal start. This one allows you to track, it enables you to build a track record of saving. Yeah. Now, a SACCO is also very good for medium-term goals. Like, for example, you want to buy land, projects, or you probably want to start a side hustle. When I was in Nyeri back then, we used to have a SACCO called Biashara SACCO. But one limitation I normally have with SACCOs, I don't know if most of them have done improvements, is access to your funds. We used to really have a lot of trouble withdrawing money. Yeah, their systems are failing. You go to the bank, there's the SACCO, the banking hall has a long queue. Still an advisable approach, but for me, I tell people, tread carefully. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. So for me, I'm just saying the things I have learned personally. Now, invest in yourself first, right? Instead of thinking of investing 10,000 shillings and it making you an extra 20,000 shillings, why don't you first invest in yourself? Digital skills. Start learning how to freelance. Get certifications. Okay? The good thing about knowledge is that it compounds faster than money. That's a fact you need to understand. Knowledge compounds faster than money. And you see, skills that you have can create new income streams. Go learn, like, take an example. Go learn how to use a very simple software like Adobe Illustrator. When you learn how to use Adobe Illustrator, you can be able to do logos for people. As a beginner, charge 3,000 for logos. Okay? Seek or target to have 3 clients per week. That's an extra 9,000 Kenyan shillings. And that's why we're saying that knowledge compounds faster than money. You see, with a 2,000 Kenyan shilling course, you have the ability to make 5,000 shillings per week. And that's why we are justifying the statement that knowledge compounds faster than money, especially practical knowledge. So invest in yourself first, and the skills that you have can actually create new income streams. Start small and be very consistent. Even that Kenya shillings 100 daily can actually add up if you're putting it in a money market fund or something like that. So for me, consistency beats waiting for big money to start. You don't have to wait to have like 400,000 Kenyan shillings so that you can start investing. Start with as little as you have. Yeah. For me, I personally believe that your investment vehicle begins with a very simple, tiny resources that you have. Avoid risky shortcuts. So many people at this point, people don't think when they are getting into these things. Avoid get rich quick schemes. You find guys talking about, you find people telling you things like, Forex. Forex has been the thing that has been trending. Don't fall into those scams, my friend. You will go and find online, some guy online, some fat dude online who's going to be telling you that if you put 5,000 shillings, I'll give you this binary bot that is going to make you this amount of money. You will lose a lot of money. Avoid risky shortcuts. Those are shortcuts. Okay? The low risk things, those low risk to things, like for example, saving in a money market fund, will actually enable you to have a larger investment by just starting small. Avoid most of these mchezo ya town. Yeah, guys, if someone is telling you about binary bot, please don't listen to that nonsense, because honestly, most of it all is going to make you lose money, right? Start with these low risk things, like learning or taking a course on Udemy is a low risk. A course on Udemy is like 2,100. And the good thing is, even 3 years later, if you want to retake the course, you can already take it again. So that's the thing I would actually say. How can I manage small expenses like snacks or rides that eat my money? Yeah, small expenses. These ones are the biggest problem. Now, this is where I suffer from. Small expenses. I also have that problem. Yeah. Sometimes unakutana na mse wa boilo and you've not eaten boilo in 8 days. Unagonga 7. You get? Ukienda ukirudi unakutana na smocha, unagonga zingine 10. You get? So this is what he eats my money. And by that time, you probably have a girlfriend, you have a friend. So uweze kula smocha peke yako. Hata unawaambia kula. Beba 10. Those two snacks, by the way, you go to Art Cafe, you ask for wings. Unakula wings 10, hujashiba. Unasema, leta zingine big, leta buffalo sasa. When the bill is brought, you're like, ay. Things that we don't see. So how can I manage small expenses? So let me first say this. Track daily leaks. Enda ujue, first of all, unakula mayai 10 boilo in a day, times that's 300. So in short, just think about this. If you're eating 10 eggs per day, times that a days, that's 300 eggs. 300 eggs. Be realistic. So 300 eggs, that's what you're eating. This is just what I'm saying. Kama wewe ni mtu wa smocha na unakula moja daily, well, probably you're spending like 110. Yeah. I don't know why I'm able to know the prices of these things. I don't even know how I know price smocha ni 110. But I think you can see where it's an addiction, something like that. Okay. So write down every soda, snack, impulse ride, or basically lunch out. These two small expenses make and add up to thousands monthly. A brief example, take your M-Pesa statement. Go and check the payments that you made to Java, Art cafe. Just look, you'll be shocked. A friend of mine in a whole year has spent 221,000 in hotels. Yeah. He was not taking, he has no girlfriend. He's spent it on hotels, Java, mara ameenda sijui mall gani. He was shocked. These are what we refer to as daily leaks. You might not see them. Number two is to set a spending cap. Okay. You can say that every month you're going to spend 1,000 or say like 5,000. Okay. Once the limit has hit, you stop. If you're someone who likes taking coffee, you have to put a limit to that. If you have to take 2 cups daily, that's okay. Okay. If you can be able to actually know where your money is going, like basically just check every month. My recommendation is I normally say this, like if you want to know how much money you spent on snacks, probably in hotels, go to one hotel for a whole month. Like for example, if you decide you're going to go to Kilimanjaro, don't go to another hotel. And then after 30 days, go and check the amounts and always make sure that you pay with M-Pesa. When you pay with M-Pesa, you can always record that transaction. So at the end of the month, get your M-Pesa statement. Go and put your M-Pesa statement on ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to tell you all the expenses that you sent, or the expenses, the amount of money that you spent in Kilimanjaro. Nikwambie umespend for 5,000 Kilimanjaro ukikula tu. Na ulikuwa unakula unapeleka wapi? Let me not complete that. So set a spending cap. You need to know how much money you have spent. Okay? And then say 5,000 ikifika, funga. If you have to go on dates, sasa itabidi umemwambia kuja nikupikie sembe na nyama. Sembe na ugali or something like that. Set a spending cap. Use the cash envelope method. Withdraw a set amount of money for snacks, rides, or entertainment. Once the envelope is empty, you're done until next month. Go to your bank. Si watakupea white bahasha. 10K, take 10K. Na uambi wabunja vunje 500, 200, 50 bob. All that money iwekwe kwa kabahasha. Right? If you have a vehicle, put that money in your glove box. So when you go to a hotel, you know, mimi leo nakunywa chai ya 500 because I only have 500 bob. So if mwenye anakuja hajakula, shauri yake. Right? The cash envelope method is always going to work. And kama atakuja akulipie, well and good. You'll have saved your money. I normally say, by the way, if someone says that they want to pay, don't, usijifanye ati you're holier than thou. Thank you so much. Sawa. Wewe, sikuje upe mdosi bill. You do that. The cash in envelope method really works. Carry cash for these 2 expenses to snacks. Yeah? Kama una pesa ya snacks, you cannot, wezi enda kwa mse wa boilo. You see these 2 small things to mandazi, don't pay with M-Pesa, don't pay with your bank account, pay with cash. If you don't have cash, you can't eat. That is what we refer to as the cash in envelope method. Tomorrow, go to the bank, waambie wakutolee pesa na wakuweke kwa bahasha. Wasikupatie hivi, wakupe kwa bahasha. You have a handbag, put that money over there. Lakini uchunge in Nairobi kaa rada. That money is meant for your snacking and everything. Yeah, that's probably one of the best things that you can actually do. In fact, if you can, use that money as fare. Okay, pay your fares like that. So that's one way. You can also switch to cheaper alternatives, like for example, carrying snacks from home. It's a bit of a problem because you cannot carry ndoma or chapati from your house to Westlands. So you have to live with Nairobi as it is. But if you're in places like Nyeri, Kiambu, Murang'a, beba mandazi yako. No one is going to ask you a question, yeah? Yeah, switch to cheaper alternatives. It's cheap. Don't worry. But I've gone with mandazis to a hotel and they were like, hey, umefanya poa. We didn't have anything to give to our guests. Yeah. So at least you enjoy yourself with something. Yeah, it's a little bit, there's some kashem, but for me, I just say it's a cheaper alternative. If you go to a hotel and you have your ndoma, yes, people are going to be laughing at you, but at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. But be careful with where you're going. Yeah. At least ukienda ukute watu wengine kama wewe, it's okay. But now there are places and setups. You can go to Kempinski with your mandazis. Of course, you're going to be chased out. Yeah. Another thing is walk short distances instead of random boda rides. Yeah. You want to come, you want to go from Sarit Center to, let me give to 9 West. It's just like a walking distance. Unaita mzee wa pikipiki. Boda guys are very clever. He's going to take you through Karuna, akupeleke, akuzungushe, akwambie ni 200. Right? Walk short distances instead of random boda rides. And then share rides instead of solo trips. Okay, this one I just added as a by the way. Sometimes I have never liked these things of sharing rides unless you're in a point where you have to. Please do it. Sometimes you'll share a ride with someone na kona miraa, yeah? It's a bit of a problem, yeah? So for me, that's one of the things I would actually say. So yeah. So avoid those ninis, those like random, first of all bodas, and then shared trips instead of solo trips. Yeah. So that's maybe what I would actually get to say. Now, I'll move on to the next part, which is review your weekly expenses. Look back every Sunday. Where did small leaks drain you? Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Where did you spend? Probably you spend like 400 shillings on a certain guy, boda rider, because he's handsome. That's a leak already. Yeah. Kuna mama mboga fulani hapo is looking like this. Probably those are the leaks that people need to be looking at. It is not the big expenses that keep most people broke. It is not that random purchase of buying a vehicle, of buying something. It's not those expenses. Those big expenses are not the ones that really affect you. It is the silent daily leaks that kill your budget. Those 200 bobs, the 150 bobs, those are the ones that actually kill your budget. If you don't have money to give your soja, if you don't have 100 bob, usimpatie, leo mwambie wewe, kumekauka is not good. If they want to frown all the way to the moon, that's okay. Okay? That's what I would actually get to say. Now, what is the best way to handle inconsistent income?
Elvis, before you proceed to that question,
yes,
I'd like to say, tracking. I am a big advocate of tracking your expenses. There was a time I downloaded the tracking app on my phone. I used to be very disciplined. Nikinunua hiyo smocha naandika pale. Nikifanya kitu naandika pale, and I was shocked. I was shocked at the end of the month tracking my expenses. I found that there are some small, tiny things you pay for and you don't even think about it. But when it accumulates, it's a lot of money. You might even find you're spending so much on airtime and you didn't know, so much on those small things. So I'm a big advocate of that, and I would really recommend like the tracking apps.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, they're very good, and they help you see things from a broader perspective.
If you can, me, I normally say, ask for a receipt.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ability to track those expenses, every time you take a receipt, put that receipt in your vehicle, put that receipt somewhere. At the end of the month, take these receipts, go look for an accountant, tell them, of it.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that I actually think,
True.
Someone is saying, I spent too much in bundles. Here's the secret. If you spend too much in bundles, I've learned one trick. Number one, 500 shillings can give you 300 minutes per month. With this Tunukiwa, something like that. You'll be able, with 500 bob, you can be able to get 300 minutes. For me, I spend 500 shillings per month on calls only. Not 3,000, only 500 bob. For data, I spend 1,000 shillings with Airtel. Airtel is going to give you 18 GB of data per month. That's a lot. The good thing is I have Wi-Fi in my house. So when I'm outside the house, I don't have to be buying two small bundles. I have an Airtel line that always has bundles. So you can see you're able to save a lot of money because people will spend even 15,000 shillings every month on bundles. Kwanza utu to power hour. Don't buy those two things. Please don't. Those 2 power hour bundles, don't buy those two things. They will drain your income like nothing else. Yeah?
True.
Because, piga hesabu, 20 bob per hour. In a whole day, probably you'll buy like 3 times. That's around like 60 bob. Na hiyo ni bundles peke yake. Hujanunua zijui za kuongea. You'll spend like around 200 per day. in bundles, airtime and the rest. Na probably kuna watu unatumia, kuna wasichana una text, amekwambia babe naenda offline sina bundles, unambariki na 300. Stop doing that stupid thing by the way. Kama hana bundles, ngojea mpaka kesho akuje apate bundles. Most of the time they have bundles. It's only that you're not so important to have a conversation with. That's one of the things I've learned. So Sinikweli, Stashia.
Yeah, true.
Can I continue for the purposes of time?
Yes. I also wanted to add there's an option of fiber. Fiber, you buy 30 GB for 1,000 bob, which is cheaper compared to other methods.
The question is it stable?
On my end, yes. But I hear there are some places it's not.
So yeah, for me, let me just move on to this very fast. It's about what is the best way to handle inconsistent income. Now, for me, and I look at it in this manner. Most of us are getting inconsistent income because we don't know anything about our data. The first thing you need to do is to look at your last 3 to 6 months of earnings. Calculate the average. That is your salary. So month 1, 200,000, month 2, 60,000, month 3, 40,000. Calculate all that money and then divide by those months. The amount of money that you get over there, that is your salary. That is the amount of money that you can actually say that is your salary. Pay yourself that fixed amount every month. That is the first thing. Create a base salary. Number 2 is to separate accounts. If you can, have 2 separate accounts. The first one is a bills account. This one is where you put your money for rent, food, transport, and savings. Account number 2 is your hustle account or your business account. This one is good for extra gigs, like when you make some more money, where you have it for bonuses and like some side money. Separate your accounts. This one is going to prevent overspending when income spikes. You'll go and talk to someone who is running a multi-billion Kenya shilling company, and anakuambia mimi I'm broke, I don't have any money, and you're like, wait a minute, see, you're making over. No, it's not that the person has that money in cash or something. Sometimes you have a business that needs to operate. You cannot be eating from your business. So separate those 2 things. That's one of the things I've actually been able to learn. Now, build a buffer fund. A buffer fund is basically you save 2 to 3 months of expenses in an emergency fund. So this one is going to cushion you when you're not getting gigs. Now, the problem with most freelancers and guys who work online today, the issue is you're getting 400,000 shillings every month, but you're spending 450,000 shillings every month. You don't know how to save. Wewe kazi yako, the moment there is no work, road trip, sherehe, and all those things. Build a buffer fund. Just look at your rent. How much is your rent? Your rent is 80,000, right? It's 20,000. How much are you spending for shopping in the house? This amount of money. Have at least that amount of money set for the next 6 months, such that even if when you're not making any money, at least you have an emergency fund that can give you food, that can pay your rent, that can pay your electricity. Those are the things that people don't know. Have an emergency fund. There are people who are broke, but they're not worried. Why? They have finances on the side that actually cushion them. That's one of the things. Now, the next thing is to prioritize essentials. Rent, food, transport, utilities. Those ones come first. For me, if I have a lady who cooks for me in the house, she's a priority. You kama hapiki niko njaa. She's a priority. Take care of her. Okay? If it's your girlfriend who is doing it for you, hey, please take care of them. That is a priority. Luxuries only when the basics plus savings are covered. When you have realized that everything has been sorted, now you can go to Kempinski and go and drink gold coffee for 4,500 shillings. When your basics have been covered and you have savings. The next thing that most people don't understand is to diversify your income streams. Stop relying on one client or one hustle. Like wewe ni social media manager, so every day you wake up singing social media manager. Why don't you start thinking about other things? Can you become a trainer in social media management? Can you consult? Right? Can you do digital marketing? Diversify your income streams. Multiple income streams bring in more stability. Yeah? That's one of the things. For me, I personally really recommend that. Yeah? Diversify your income streams. There's also something I say, a mindset shift. Most people do freelancing like an individual. Wewe ukilipwa dhao unakula. Instead of doing things like that, go register your business. Register it. Now you're not running as a business. You're not running it as an individual. You're running it as a business. It's so easy to incorporate a business in Kenya. Yeah, go to probably those two of them, the good ones. I&M is kind of good. Create a bank account for your business and get a till number. So when your clients are paying you, they'll pay you directly over there. Go and get an account with a company called Intersend or use Paystack, such that when you have a client who is paying you from Nigeria, you can actually just send them a payment link and they will pay you immediately. If you're running a physical business, get the POS by Pesa. Is it PesaPal? So that now you're separating your money. It's not coming to you. It is coming to your business. And here's a good thing about it. You're able to start building your financial statements. The next time you go to a bank and you want a loan, they will not tell you to come with your mother. They will ask for what? Financial statements. That is how you start building that. So the mindset shift is shifting from thinking like an individual and start thinking like a business. When you think like a business, now it's going to grow. Now here's the sweet thing. Bring in employees into your business. Bring in 2 people. Now you have 2 more mouths to feed. I'm telling you, you'll be waking up at 2 a.m. with ideas. Unasema, hii kitu hii, this one. Diversify your income streams. That's one of the things. Yeah. Now, should I use apps or pen and paper? For me, today, if you're still using a pen and paper, it's still okay. But I'll call you, sorry, let me not call you anything. Here's the thing. It's okay. You use a pen, you use a stick and a rod, you use a charcoal. As long as you're doing something, you're using a tool, it's okay. The tool don't matter. The tools that you're using don't really matter. As long as you steer the boat to the far end, that's okay. What matters is sticking to it every single month. Kama utaandika kwa chalkboard, is okay. If you have to buy all that, but as long as you're consistent, but you need to do something that is efficient. That is okay. Consistency over tools. Number 2 is to start simple. Use a notebook if you can, right? Use a notebook. First of all, write down your income, your expenses, your savings, and your goals. You can write, that's okay. If you can, use a very simple app like Google Keep. There's a very simple app that you can actually get to use. Use it, Google Keep. Or even put your things on ChatGPT. Yeah? You know, ChatGPT has better memory than some of us. So, you know, on ChatGPT, even a story, it's going to help you, right? It's a good digital option. As a digital option, you have budgeting apps. I think there's M-Pesa Manager or something like that. There's another one called Mint. There's another one called Money Lover. There are budgeting apps that you can also get to use, right? You can also start using spreadsheets, Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel for custom tracking, okay? Ukichoka kuandika na kalamu na karatasi, you can use Google Sheets or Excel, okay? You can also decide to use the hybrid method. There are people who prefer to use pen and paper for quick notes, then transfer the notes to apps weekly. Someone is going to write down in a pen and paper, take a photo, probably convert it into text. Is okay. As long as you're able to steer the ship and keep moving and stay consistent, that is okay. So yes, we are recording this particular session. It's being recorded. I think there's a timer running down over there. Now, you need to choose what fits your lifestyle. If you're someone who is tech savvy, that's okay. You can use apps. If you prefer old school, very okay. You can get yourself a notebook and a pen. Those are enough. That's okay. I'm not here to tell you that wewe ni millennial, wewe tumia makaratasi. If you feel you can use apps, use them. But here's the thing. Budgeting is not about the tool. Let me repeat that. Budgeting is not about the tool. It is about building the discipline to know where your money goes. I don't care about the tool. No one cares about what you do. Even if you want to use a chalkboard, if you want to write on trees, if you want to go ahead and get examination papers that have been used and write behind them, that's okay. The whole goal is to actually build discipline to know where your money goes. Yeah. You want to tattoo yourself? No, that one is not right. For me, I just say, if you have to write in a piece of paper, if you have to use an app, if you want to use ChatGPT, as long as you're able to know where your money goes, that's okay. That's you. What is the number one money habit that you had to break in your 20s? Now I'm going to be winding up in a few. The first one is impulse spending. Yeah. First of all, I used to buy things just because they looked good or were on offer. Let me tell you sorry, I'm trying to avoid vulgar language. One of the most interesting things that you can do is to go uende ukute kikitu kimeandikwa hapo on offer. Unasema, na si wanatoa 50 bob, acha ninunue. Most of it doesn't add any value, honestly. You see those two things you see with price tags imeandikwa hapo. Si siku moja uende ujiulize mbona imeandikwa hivyo, right? That really leads to impulse spending. Go to supermarkets like Carrefour. Unakuta wamewekea hapo kamande imeandikwa 320, was 320, now 289. 3 minutes later stock imeisha, right? Yeah. Someone who didn't even need to buy kamande, hata hakulangi kamande, amenunua. Why? Because they are thinking they are saving some money, right? But wewe unafanya nini? Unatoa tu stock. Impulse spending was one of the biggest problems. I used to go and meet some trousers, some khaki trousers I wanted to buy. Nilikuwa nimeiacha ikiwa 1400. Leo nakuta ni 999. And I buy it. After kubuy na kukuja na kuvaa, 3 days later naifua. Naangalia kitu naona, the color was not like that. You get? And now you understand why ilikuja 999. So, impulse spending was a problem. Number 2 is lifestyle chasing. You want to look successful. I was always trying to look financially stable. There are times I used to even lie that I have a vehicle. Na sina gari, natembea na Futsubishi vibaya sana. Yeah? I went and bought, let me tell you one of the stupidest things that you can do, and never do this. I went and bought a car key. You know, you can go and buy a fake car key. Unajua hivyo? Unaweza enda utafute mtu ako na gari, right? You tell them, hebu nipe fungo yenye haifanyi kazi. So every day people will see you walking with a vehicle, but every time they're seeing you in matatus, and you're like, it's because of lifestyle, all right? Most of the time you'll be stressed because you're trying to fit a lifestyle that you don't have. You're trying to do something that is just straining you a lot. You go and start living in a 3-bedroom apartment, and you're a single person. Are you mad? Yeah? 3-bedroom and you're alone. Yet a bedsitter is going to be good for you. But why are you living in a 3-bedroom? So that when your friends come, they can actually see, oh, he's living in a 3-bedroom apartment. Lifestyle chasing. Living for enjoyment, not stability. Yeah? Prioritizing short-term enjoyment over long-term freedom. Alcohol. Alcohol is one of the things that has really drained the finances of so many people, because people see that very good, very nice high. Okay? Unafikiria venye utatembea ukiume. It's not very nice to be an alcoholic. Yeah? Who told people that shouting at 2 a.m. is very nice? It's not nice. It's very boring. It's one of the things that makes me think, are you mad? And probably that's a bunker, right? It's not very interesting. Short-term enjoyment. Just because you're feeling high like a kite, you're like, hey. And you see, the funny thing is, you've tricked your body. And your body is going to react. In the morning, you're feeling a lot of hangovers. That is a price you have to pay. Every single form of enjoyment that we have today that is not natural to our bodies, we have a price to pay. Alcoholism, what does it do? You wake up in the morning with hangovers. There's a price. You smoke. When you smoke bangi, all of a sudden umeanza kulemewa kuspell jina kama syllabus. You're told to spell AI and you're like, you don't know how to spell AI, right? There's a repercussion for every single thing that you do. So stop living that kind of enjoyment lifestyle. Start looking for long-term stability. The thing is, I learned how to post before making purchases. I created a 48-hour rule. What is a 48-hour rule, ladies and gentlemen? If I still wanted it after 2 days, maybe it is still worth it. If after 2 days you realize, by the bado ni kama nataka hako kanguo. But after 2 days you realize, hata sijisikia, I don't even want, then it's good enough. It was the devil who was trying to tempt you to go and buy that thing. Okay? So you close it at that. Then I focused on paying myself first, savings and investments before spending. For me, the biggest investments I've made is in me. I have invested in my personal craft. I have invested in my microphones. I have invested in my equipment. I have been able to invest in a lot. And this investment has been able to make me produce better content. It has been able to get me recognition, and it has allowed me to get paid. Like now, if a company comes and tells me, Elvis, we would like for you to do a campaign for us, I'll not tell them nipeeni 300 ama 300. I can quote figures in the hundreds of thousands, and they're going to be like, yeah, cool, we agree. Why? This guy has invested in his craft. He's been able to invest in equipment. He looks the part. He walks he talks the talks, and something like that. So for me, it's invest in yourself. Have a mindset shift that says, let me pause before I actually buy. Discipline beats vibes and enjoyment. Money doesn't respect your feelings. It respects structure. How you're feeling is just something temporary. Look at it. If your girlfriend is always bothering you, if your boyfriend is always bothering you, and you buy them a cake and they keep quiet, how long is that? Is that going to be really sustainable? It's not going to be sustainable, really. For me, money is not about your feelings. It's not about how you feel. Money respects structure when you have structures in order. So here's the thing. What's one thing I can do this week to stop being broke? I'm not here to but let me say this. Start tracking your expenses today. Write every coin you spend. Snacks, transport, airtime, bills. Awareness is the first step towards control. Start tracking your expenses today. Know where is this particular money going, right? In fact, if you took your M-Pesa statements or you took your bank statements and assessed them, you'll be shocked. Majority of your money doesn't go to things that you buy for 5,000 or 10,000. It's the 20 bob, the 30 bob, those ones you don't see. And there's a book called Atomic Habits. It says it's in these tiny things that we don't see that actually compound into something big. That's the thing. Like if you start content creation today, if you really start content creation today and you want to be known as that person who is like probably the best content creator in the country, it's going to take you some time. You shoot videos every day, shoot every day. After 2 years, that's when you're realizing, by the way, watu walinijua. Yeah? It's in those tiny, very simple things that you're doing. That video you're shooting every day. It's the same case with money. The simple things, the simple expenses that you don't see, those ones are the ones that actually compound into something big. Number 2 is to pick one skill to build. Atomic Habits. The book is Atomic Habits. Pick one skill to build. Begin learning a digital or practical skill that can earn you extra income. Learn something like design, digital marketing. Learn how to code. Learn how to do websites. Learn even how to do prompt engineering. Learn even how to create websites. Yeah. Learn how to do email marketing. Every 1 hour a day compounds over time. Spend 1 hour a day on Udemy learning something practical. It's going to really help you. Number 3 is to take personal responsibility. Stop blaming your salary, your friends, or the economy. Your money habits are in your control. The earlier you own the truth, the faster you'll change your financial story. You're not broke because your family members were from Mesopotamia, they came from the valley of Galilee, so they never got land. That's the problem. We all think that our money problems stem from a certain thing that you are not able to solve. Oh, my grandfather was not there when people were grabbing land in Nairobi. Probably he was there and he was grabbing, but alipigwa, yeah? So take personal responsibility of your problems, yeah? Own up to them. That's you, all right? For you to change your financial story, you have to be willing enough to sit down and say, what is it that I'm doing? Me. Don't say your father has not given you inheritance. He's going to probably give you inheritance, and 2 days later you're coming back broke like a hoe. I don't know what. Is this a church mouse or something like that? Take personal responsibility. Number 2 is something we refer to as do it now. Do it now, not later. Don't wait for your salary increase or a better time. The change begins with small, consistent action today. Yes, you want to start saving, but you can't be waiting for you to earn 200,000 shillings for you to start saving, right? You need to start with that very little amount of money that you have, right? Yes, you're making 80,000 Kenyan shillings. Good. How much money can you be able to save from that before you even get to the 800,000 Kenyan shilling figure? Do it now, not later, not at a better time. So here's some other advanced questions I received that I think I could really address as I wind up. If you had to start over with an average salary, where would you start? Month one is to track my expenses and know where my leaks are coming from. Number two is to build a mini emergency fund. I could have like 5,000 to 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Month 3 to 4 would be really clearing high interest debts. Which loans do I have that are really bothering me? Clear them. Month 5 to month 6 is to start saving and investing, probably in money market funds or even in SACCOs. Month 7 onward is to build a side income through skills and hustles. The better, you see, listen, the more you learn, the more you gain in terms of information and knowledge, and the more you can earn, right? If you can learn SEO today and get an extra 80,000 Kenyan shillings tomorrow, it makes sense. So month 7 onwards is concentrating on bettering yourself. One money belief I had to unlearn was I'll save when I earn more. I think this is one of the beliefs that I tend to believe that I had to unlearn. You'll never save unless you start with what you have, no matter how small you have. Here's the worst financial advice people still follow, and I think it's something to really talk about, that loans are bad and you avoid them completely. Now, good debt for assets or even education can build wealth. As long as you're using a loan properly, it can enable you to build wealth. If you're taking the loan to probably educate yourself, like for example, you want to go ahead and learn videography, cinematography, you want to educate yourself, it's a worthwhile investment. If you're getting the money to actually get to buy very good assets or assets that can actually give you a good turnover, that makes sense. Just work hard, money will come. I don't believe in that. It's probably one of the weirdest statements I've ever had. All you just need to do is you need strategy, not just effort. You can be working 9 hours a day and you're making just a meager 2,000 bob. Yet for someone like me, I can be like, okay, instead of working the whole day, how about I dedicate 1 hour, 30 minutes every day and get 30 people for 2 days to pay me 2,000 Kenyan shillings each. So every day, these people will pay me 30,000 for 1 hour, 30 minutes. To do what? To teach them something. Strategy. Strategy is the most important thing that you have to think about. Money habits that look good but keep you broke. Number 1 is buying things on sale that you don't need. You know that sale sign. Number 2 is saving everything without ever investing. Your savings journey is about you taking that money probably to investing. There's a guy I listen to a lot of times. His name is Yeshoke Kahome. I normally see him on X. And he really puts out very nice nuggets of wisdom, especially when it comes to money. And you can check him out, by the way. Very solid guy. Finally, is helping everyone financially while neglecting your own financial stability. That's the biggest problem we have today. Yeah. Don't give money to everyone and neglect yourself. Take care of yourself first, right? And it's not selfish. People think that if I go and get a new makeover, yeah, that my brothers are going to die. They're not going to die. No. They have money. It's only that they have become so dependent on you because you know how to say yes a lot of times. Dealing with draining friends or family. How can you be able to deal with all these things? The first one is set limits. You can even say set boundaries. Decide how much money you're willing to give monthly and stick to it. Kama una 150 ndio yako. Sina ingine. 150 ni yako. You get. Number 2 is help in non-financial ways. Here's the thing. You don't always have to send money to your friends and family. Tell them, I can give you some advice. I can help you with some connections. Wacha kushinda unasema huna kazi. Or I can help you with resources. All right? Help in non-financial ways. Okay? Number 3 is to remember that saying no, all right, to constant draining is the same as saying yes to your future stability. Stop saying yes every single time when someone actually comes to you and tells you, hey, you know, I'm having this problem. And then you tell them, okay, nikuwekea wapi? No. Say no. You see, the best thing about saying no, it allows you to know what kind of person you're dealing with. In fact, here's the thing I like to say. Tell someone no so that you can know how they react. If someone reacts rudely to you, the next time they call you, you'll have a reason not to pick up because there's a way they reacted. Now, generally, for me to say this, ladies and gentlemen, as a wind up, your money, your financial future is based on the decision that you actually make in your 20s. Here's the best things that you can actually learn. I'm still in my 20s. If you want to be like just a little bit better, learn more. I think graduation and leaving university and everything like that is not really about education coming to an end. It's about a new chapter on how you can actually get to learn by yourself. The more you learn, the better you actually become. So my personal thing to tell you today is this: learn, earn, invest, give, and be willing enough to say, no, what you're telling me today doesn't align with my financial goals. At the end of the day, your financial responsibility is yours. So you have to take responsibility as it is. Thank you, Stashia.
Yay! Thank you so much, Elvis. We've really learned a lot. Indeed, your life is your own responsibility, whether it's financial, in every aspect of your life. It's your own responsibility. Your finances are your own responsibility. How you choose to live this life, it's your own responsibility. I'm seeing a lot of questions on family. I'm struggling with not giving with family. I'm struggling with setting boundaries with friends. I think that's your own responsibility. You have to unlearn a lot of things. You have to unlearn shame. You have to unlearn guilt. You have to learn to set boundaries. You have to learn to say no. Yeah, everything is your own responsibility. So thank you so much, Elvis. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. My name is Stashia Wanja. I am a digital creator and a digital marketer. You can follow me or follow us at Stashia, COCUH, and at Elvis W. Asanteni sana. Elvis, do you want to tackle a few, 2 or 3 questions? Then we close. Elvis, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Stashia. We can actually tackle a few questions.
Yeah, let's do at least 2 to 3. I saw a question of people asking, what is better? Is it better to reduce your expenses, or is it better to increase your income and not focus on reducing the expenses?
If you ask me, I think it's to increase your income.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you reduce your expenses, there's something called inflation. Your expenses will always go higher. So even if you reduce them to 2,000, at the end of the day, reality is going to hit. So for me, I think about income expansion and trying to think of how you can make to just earn some more money.
Yeah.
Because like there are people who think like, if for me, here's the thing. I also believe in this. If you're living, don't, like, as a young person, don't live in one area for so long. Like, don't even do like more than 18 months in one place. Live in one area. After a few, maybe 18 months, move to an area now that's going to ask for more. If you want to move to Upper Hill, if you want to move to Kilimani, if you want to move to Lavington, move over there. I've come to realize that the brain of a young person, especially who is aggressive and someone who has ambition, some people like really those. It's something like I like to say. It's something that allows you to tangle. Like now, you're not saying about 12,000 shillings per month in terms of rent. You're talking about 40,000.
Yeah.
You know what your brain is going to be like? I like this house so much that I have to think of how I can make these extra 40,000 Kenyan shillings. So for me, I think it's about making or earning some more income as compared to reducing your expenses. That's what I would say.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. There's also a question of, you talk about skills and skills acquisition, and you've talked about how investing in yourself and learning. But I saw a question on, how do you now monetize? Yes, you've understood digital marketing. Yes, you know how to do graphic designing. How do you now get the clients?
Here's the thing. For me, I don't believe in people thinking about monetization first. Monetization comes easily when you know how to do something. You see, money is a store of value. You're paid for the value that you can actually provide. So the only way you'll get paid is when you know something so well that someone is going to be like, yeah, give this person all the money they need. But the problem is, people want to be paid even if they're half-baked. Yeah.
Mm.
Number two is people don't also want to look at visibility. Visibility is like this. You've learned something, you have a skill, you're able to do this and this. People are not going to come knocking on your door and telling you, hey, by the way, wewe ndio unatengenezanga logos. No. People will go to social media to look for that person who is putting themselves out there. And clients don't come looking for you. Yeah. You have to put yourself in a position that people can actually comfortably come and find you and seek your services. Learn, be a person of value, put yourself out there, put yourself on social media. Let people know that you know how to do something.
I believe so as well. So you should put yourself out there. You
Yes.
should create content.
Yeah, that's my recommendation. Create content. So many people are afraid of creating content because you're afraid of trolls. Don't be afraid of trolls. They're always going to be existent. You see, negative comments are not a reflection of you. They are a reflection of the person who's commenting, not you.
Yeah, true. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this session, Elvis. We've really learned a lot. Asante.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stashia, for having me today. I really appreciate, and thank you, everyone. And we also have a book club, by the way. I've actually shared the link. I think probably we'll be having a session on Sunday to discuss the book Atomic Habits. So if you'd like to join and check in, I have shared the link.
Oh, that's interesting. We also have a book club. We also have a book club. We have read Atomic Habits. I think we are in chapter 18 right now. We are close to finishing. But we can also join in and hear from your side as well.
Yeah, join. My guys are actually going to be sharing a few things of what they have learned.
All right. Sawa sawa. Asante everyone. Have a good night. Kwaherini.